Yeah, better work with you.
Okay, it is 6 o'clock, December 10th, 2019, and item number 1, I call this meeting to order. Item number 2, roll call and status report.
Joe Pettis, present.
Joel Garcia, present.
Linda Saravia, present.
Javier Ramirez, present.
The present, I do declare a quorum.
Mayor, if I may, I believe Mr. Councilman Oreste contacted Ms. Yarian, and Ms. Yarian, he wasn't going to be able to make it, is that correct?
Right.
You did mention, okay.
Mr. Mayor, at this time, we can entertain a motion to excuse me if the council would like.
So moved to excuse.
Second motion by Mr. Pettis, and a second to excuse by Mr. Garcia. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 3, invocation and pledge of allegiance. We bow our heads real quick. I'm just gonna read from Proverbs 12:25 from the King James Version. And it says, bless others with your words. And underscore on that is, heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop, but a good word maketh it glad. So remember about our words and the way we choose them as well. They're blessings sometimes, we use them wisely. All right? Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 5, any public comments? Didn't see any, did we?
No one signed up.
Okay, item number 6, new business. 6A, discussion and possible action regarding upcoming budgeted events, staff by finance.
Mayor, if I may, 2 items we'd like to discuss. First, the Christmas party. As you all know, we've been talking about the Christmas party and the location and so forth, and we were looking at the event center here, Stallions, and looking at an expense of about $2,500 with meals included. We took it a step further, started looking at other establishments maybe. The idea was we were not going to use the entire facility, and we started getting feedback from some of the employees as far as what they would like to see for the event and really for the holidays. So we looked at local events, local businesses that we could promote and be utilized, and we were able to find one, Rick's Country Bar and Grill, right off the expressway on the frontage, where they wouldn't, he's got a room in an area in the back, they're not gonna charge us, so right off the bat, we saved as far as not having to pay for the facility. We're only gonna pay for the food, and whatever food we don't use, we don't have to pay for. At these other places, you pay for your food, at the end of the night, you eat it, it goes to waste, too bad. At this place, they're only gonna charge us what we're actually gonna consume at the end of the night. So we expect to save about $1,500 on that. So we do want to advise the council, we're advising our boards as well, our board members from different various boards that we have. The event is still Saturday. This Saturday at 7 to 1. The food's included. We are getting some sponsorships as well to provide some gifts for the employees. So we just want to make sure that the council is aware. And also, we would like to just to make sure I consulted with Eric as far as having the authority to do so, just so we have that comfort. This is an allowable expense so long as it serves a public purpose, and the public purpose in this case, with an AG has opined that it improves employee morale. That leads to higher productivity, hence the public purpose.
Can we get a sponsor to pay for the food?
We're still looking, we're still working, we're not going to stop. The more sponsors we get. But the thing about the public purpose, the council should make that finding that this does in fact serve a public purpose.
And we're saving money doing it this way.
Yes, sir.
I second.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Garcia, second to approve. It pending possible sponsors as well?
No, it's gonna
That's gonna
happen.
happen.
Okay, it's gonna happen. Second by Ms. Saravia. Questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 6.
Mayor, if I may, back to on that item, there's also a second part to it, and that's regarding the festival, community festival. We really need to agree on a date and as far as the expense. So I don't know if that's a discussion you want to have now, or if you want to save it for
Executive?
discussion of the council.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to
Take
do
it
it.
to executive.
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask you to entertain a motion to move that item to executive session.
Okay, wait, that's item, discussion of upcoming budgeted events. So in there would be, okay.
They made the motion, I second.
So do we do B, C, and D out here?
Yes, we're going to go out to B.
Okay, so we need a motion to go into
Yeah, I did.
executive?
Yeah.
Motion to go into executive.
Not to go
Mr.
into
Garcia.
The motion is to move item C, I believe. right?
No, item A, I'm sorry.
Item A.
The second part about by the way.
Well,
The
yeah,
second part of item A to executive session.
okay.
Motion by
Me.
Mr. Garcia and a
C,
second by
second by.
Saravia. I believe I didn't say it stated like that, I just said stated. It's okay. All right, we're good. Okay, for the record. We're gonna discuss the event in executive session.
Okay.
Okay, item 6B, approval and salary.
We're gonna vote.
Okay, we had a motion, a second. Motion, Mr. Garcia, second. I always have to say their names.
You don't have to, really.
Okay, but just for the record, so she can know too.
But it's better.
Yeah, help her out. And then, okay, and then
Take a vote.
okay, we'll do it again. We'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 6B, approval and salaries sweep of all vacant positions to allow for additional compensation.
Mayor, we have this handout right there that if you can just continue to pass on. Another thing that we've been looking at is the potential of having some additional compensation during the holidays for employees, for the same reasons to improve employee morale. So we looked at what we spent last year, and this will give you an idea of what we spent last year. The total amount we spent there, we looked at tenure as far as how long were the employees here. If they were here over a year, it was $200, 9 months, $150, $150, and so forth. So you see the count and the cost, and we spent about $13,100. If we wanted to do that same amount this year, you see the column to the right, some of the numbers have shifted. We've had more employees here longer, we have new employees now, but it turns out the dollar amount is about the same. So that what it would be if we kept it the same, and then we have two options to either reduce it by 50 or reduce it by 75, and you see what the impact on those two is also. Now, how would this be paid for? It's important to note, to allow, again, having the authority to be able to do it, this means we would have had to have budgeted for it. In fact, we did. What we're looking at is positions that we already budgeted for. So we'll give you the example that you see there at the bottom. We have administration where we budgeted a certain amount. We have finance where we budgeted a certain amount. We know we have vacancies in these two departments, so we're not going to pay that for the full year. So those vacancies that we would have otherwise paid that we already budgeted for, we can sweep those dollars and use them towards the cost of what we're talking about right here. To give you an idea of just in October, November, for those two positions, for those two departments, we budgeted $40,000. We've only spent $21,000. What does that mean? We have about $19,500 just in these 2 months alone that we have available, that we budgeted for, that we can use for
So
compensation.
it's not gonna hurt our fund balance, it's not gonna do anything like that? Move it.
Okay, I second.
Move approval on the same as last year.
Last year.
Okay, which is the top one on the left,
Top right.
Top right.
top right.
Okay.
Okay. There's been a motion by Mr. Garcia, second on Ms. Sarabia. Questions?
No.
Okay, I got a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is money that's coming from one of our employees, right?
Vacancies, basically. Vacancies. As long as we have vacancy, obviously we're not paying that
This
money
is
out.
great. I love the idea, it's great, but I also want to make sure that, you know, we're not next month or 6 months or a year from now having to, you know, tighten our belts again and, you know, look and scratch, because, you know, I'm trying to take care of the city and I only want to take care of the employee. I'm sitting here in front of a bunch of employees too. So I'm telling you and asking you, not just Mike and the commission, we all need to find ways to save money, you know, when it comes to spending fuel. And I know, you know, you help us, and for the record, you help us with a lot of tickets, chief. I know, and I can speak for myself, not for the rest of us, but that too, we can also say, well, we can open this for a big discussion, right? But please, let's be in the, I know it's in the spirit of giving, in the spirit of cheer, but it's also, every day we gotta walk and try to talk the talk and try to save.
I think that's what we've been doing since we got in, we've been trying to take care of the city, trying to take care of the money, taking care of our employees,
So-
taking care of the city.
And I understand, and I see you're, you know, you're good to go, and Ms. Arabia's as well, and all that's great, and that's wonderful. I think, you know,
We all are.
everybody's in good cheer.
Everybody
All right,
voted for it.
but guys, we need to take care of the city as well, not just, you know, one-time shot, it's an everyday thing, all right? So
Yeah.
with that, I guess
I would
there's,
just have to correct, as far as salary goes and compensation goes, at the end of the year, we're gonna be okay. And I expect we're gonna save more money because we're not gonna be 100% staffed 100% of the time.
Yeah,
So
and-
naturally, we're gonna have vacancies, so we know we're gonna be okay on that front. But you hit it right, it's on the other areas where we can look for opportunities to
streets,
save money.
lights,
Another budget
infrastructure,
item.
all that stuff.
And-
is
and
big
this
You
time.
is
cannot use salary
And this
money
is-
for street.
And this is a way
I'm not
of taking
talking
care of
about
the city.
streets.
Oh, okay.
I'm
And
talking
it's,
about-
yeah,
Not on the
the,
agenda.
This is a way of taking care of the city. You take care of your employees, they take care of your city for you.
and it's something very minimal,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know, that we're
it's-
doing.
I like the
So
idea.
we had a motion, a second, questions, I asked the questions, or everybody else, okay? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 6C, discussion and possible action regarding budgeted amendments for fiscal year 2019 and 20.
Mayor, if I may, actually, we won't need any action on this since we took the action on item B, and that's the route that we're going. We don't have to- The good thing about item B was that, another thing, we don't have to amend our budget. We don't have to change anything because it's all within our, what we already budgeted for. So no action on item C.
Okay, great, excellent. We're good. Item 6D, discussion and possible action to approve LSNB resolution and accompanying documents. Step by City Attorney.
Mayor, if I may, this had to do with our refinancing, our refunding, and remember we had 3 loans with Lone Star, there was 1 pending. We just moved forward on the last one. Now, we went through the same exercise with this one as we did with the first 2, where we were trying to negotiate the amounts. I think there was an understanding that both sides were not comfortable with the way that everything turned out. The numbers were the same, so through our negotiations on the last 2, we were able to reduce the payout by $130,000, which resulted in savings to the city. On this 3rd loan, we went through the same exercise, however, it was a little bit different. This was a newer loan. The first 2 payments, I think, were only going towards interest, so the 3rd payment was where the question came into the reduction of principal. We made the same arguments we had back and forth with their legal, and their position was that even if we had applied more towards principal, you would have paid more in interest anyways, so there would have been no net impact to you. However, as a measure of goodwill, they offered to waive the late fees, and the only reason there was late fees was because we were trying to work everything out. So there was an understanding on our finance side that thought, hey, we're working it out.
How much were the left?
It was about $3,600. So in return for that, if we take that, then we just need to sign a release, similar to what we did last time. So if the council wishes, that's what this item is in regards to provide that release of liability for them if we so wish, and we think it's worth $3,600.
Well, what do you got, Mr. Flores?
My recommendation to the council for you to approve,
Sounds great.
unless, you all would like to do something else, but my recommendation is to approve.
I so move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion by Ms. Sarabia to approve and a second, Mr. Ramirez. Questions?
Is this the same loan that we had last time? The same loan from First National Bank, the Lone Star Bank, right?
Yes,
But there were 3 loans.
correct. And this was the 3rd loan that was
One
pending.
took forever.
See, this is the one, we couldn't do it with the other.
How much is that?
That was like 600,000, and we couldn't do it last time because the other 2 were tax exempt, and it turned out that this 3rd one was not tax exempt, so they couldn't be grouped together. So in the summer, we did the other 2, and this last time when our FA was here, was it last week or the week before, that's when we moved forward on that 3rd one. And all it was just a straight refinance, we're just taking
We're
out.
cleaning up previous
Right.
Yeah,
loans that the documents weren't done correctly.
and we just did that, and we're going with another lender.
That we had problems that there wasn't.
It wasn't taxable.
It didn't go through council and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, there were some concerns about the authority of the proper approval, the proper AG sign off. There was a lot of questions and concerns, so I think that's it.
And in good faith, nonetheless, the money was used by the city, and that's why we're,
Sure.
The best thing
And they're willing to waive the fees, the late fees. Now, if we didn't do this, they
They could make an argument that they.
We're still saving money, right?
and it charges.
Yeah, the
We're saving money, we're gonna have clean documents.
Right.
That's the most
clean
important part.
documents. All right.
I won't be with it yet.
There's a motion
There's
and
a
a second by Mr. Ramirez and Sarabia. Questions? Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, okay, which will be 6A, going into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551. At 6:14, is there a motion?
Motion, I'll make one motion.
Second? Motion by Mr. Garcia, second by Mr. Perez. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's 6:54 and we are out of executive session. Mr. Flores, we discussed the show, right? The upcoming
Contract.
event. So,
Recommendation is approval, subject to final legal review.
okay, so is there a motion for as
I make-
said by the attorney? There's 3 motions, okay?
No,
So,
go ahead.
okay,
You do
Mr.
it first.
Perez, motion as recommended by legal counsel. Are we okay with that?
Right.
Okay, Ms. Sarabia, second.
Yes.
Questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. It's 6:54, and I call this meeting adjourned.